Welcome back to another edition of The Fish here on OOTP 26, and no, I definitely did not lose track of my schedule and forget to record a video for Monday. What would lead you to believe that happened? That's just a preposterous idea. I am recording this while the late rounds of the real-life MLB draft are going on, so the first night happened, that was last night, and man, Ivar Arquette to the Marlins? I mean, what a situation, what a scenario. And then they turn around and they get Cam Cannarella with the competitive balance pick too. I mean, pretty good first two picks if you ask me, for the old Fish in real life. We'll see if they can actually develop those guys. But as you can see, we are here. It is July 28th, and we are creeping up towards that ever so important trade deadline here, as we are currently in the midst of a three-game set with the Seattle Mariners here, as sitting 63-29 on the season. A couple days away from the deadline here, and just taking a quick look at this roster. Not a ton of holes in the pitching side of things. We lock a lot of guys, but that's just going to be what happens with our team now because of Hernandez and Patino. That's just, they're going to be a big part of our staff here for the next few seasons. So we can expect to be not like leading the league in the least amount of walks as a pitching staff, but when those guys strike people out like they do, and we're basically trading the strikeout for the walk, because it used to be we never struck guys out, but we never walked guys either. Now we're striking everybody out, and we're still not walking guys at like a terrible rate. I don't feel like it's not affecting us a ton. So still very, very good pitching staff. And then on the hitting side of things, that is where we could look to possibly improve a bit, but also at the same time, like, where are we really gonna add to this roster? I should mention that we do have Camilo Diaz right now on the IL with the hamstring strain for a little bit longer. Yuji Hirata's out for the rest of the season, obviously, and this guy was the guy we picked up in the offseason, so no crazy injuries to be worrying about at the moment. And it's also just like, who are we going to be replacing at that, on a spot here, if we pick up a bat for like the rest of the season or something? The most obvious spot would be third base, because Nicholas Partridge has just not been that guy. Really, every other spot, I'm just totally comfortable just keeping what we have. Why would we move on from Garza in left field? Not move on, but you know what I mean. Pick up another outfielder. We have him. Dylan Head, he's up and down offensively, but he's Dylan Head. We're not going to remove him from center field. Mark Antonio, he's going to have some injuries. So that is the other thing with him, like, where we would maybe be able to pick up a bench bat who can fill in for Mark Antonio when he does have some, like, nagging injuries that he's just going to inevitably have. That's something that would be interesting to pick up here. And then it's just like, we're not going to replace Agustin. If we do, it's going to be Palma coming off the bench room. We're not going to add a catcher. Laura's going to keep playing second base. Vargas is going to play first. Lee is going to be the shortstop. Garza's going to be at left. Mikov's going to keep playing in right field. He's been fine enough to where, like, we trust him to figure out, if anything, it's third and maybe right. So maybe Mikov gets pushed to the bench, and then, like, Martinez, who does have an option, would, like, go to AAA, or maybe that pushes Turner down, and then just, like, Mikov becomes, like, the bench bat who could be an option for us. So, like, right field, third base are both options for us. You can see right now we have Danny Munson up in the big leagues here. We called him up straight from AA. He was a fourth-round pick for us in 2027. He's just been playing as our main backup infielder. Now that Camilo Diaz is on the IL, he's been fine, he's whatever. And if we go ahead and take a look at what is on the trade block here, heading into this trade deadline, not a lot of outstanding hitters that are just listed here available. Max Acosta, currently hurt. Also not the type of bat we're looking for. Like, if we want to pick up a bat, it's going to be a guy who can, like, be a bat for us, not just like a third baseman to play there and be decent defensively, because we want a guy who can actually hit at that position. So, like, Matt Shaw, not really that type of guy either. Alex Freeland, not that type of... I mean, he's having a good season, but, like, I don't trust this bat's going to just continue what he's doing, so not really interested in that either. As far as some of the other 50s goes, we have... This guy can't play third, although to be fair, we do have the luxury of doing something where if we push Partridge down to AAA or whatever we end up doing with him, if we pick up a guy, we could do something where Vargas maybe plays second base, or maybe Vargas plays third base, and we keep trying to have Lara play second, even though he's not been good defensively this season, despite the fact that he should be good defensively at second base. It might be a thing like with Dylan. I shouldn't say that, because I shouldn't say it's like a thing with Dylan Head, because Lara has just been terrible at second base, even though his ratings suggest he should be actually quite good at second base, whereas Dylan Head, his ratings always suggest that he should be a good center fielder, and he has been. He's been a very, very good center fielder for us, but that first season with us in center field, he was just kind of treading water, despite having these same ratings at that point. So I shouldn't say it's like a Dylan Head thing, but maybe a Dylan Head type ascension to the position where it's like first year there, he doesn't really figure it out, but then next year maybe he turns into a really good second baseman. Who knows? But we have some luxuries of being able to move guys around. Maybe we pick up a guy that moves Lara to third and the guy plays second we pick up. Maybe we move Vargas to third and the guy plays first. You know, we've got some options for us here where we could move guys around. So we don't necessarily need a guy who can play third as a bat to insert into the lineup here. It's more so we're trying to pick up a guy who can give us some serious pop in the middle of the order. So Gino Grover doesn't really have that. He has hit 25 home runs in his career before, but he's also a guy who's not on an expiring contract. I don't know if I want to pay him for another season, and he's also more so just very average across the board, but he has elite swing and miss. Elite bat-to-ball skills, so he doesn't ever strike out, even though he is striking out way more than you would expect for a guy with this avoid K rating. But we want the pop, is what we're looking for. So like Luke Keeschel doesn't really have the pop either. Bryce Terang obviously does not have pop. Vaughn Grissom does not have pop in this universe. Matt Shaw maybe could be that guy, but also at the same time, do we really want to go with Matt Shaw? Alex Freeland, not that guy. Let's just go batting ratings here, sort by power. And we got Davison De Los Santos, who is an expiring free agent and is terrible. So he does have the pop, but he's been horrible this season. So I don't think we want to acquire that, and it's really just all pop at this point. Like, he's much worse than he was when he left our organization. You've got Abimelech Ortiz, lefty guy, who the Braves got off. He's in AAA right now. So, like, this guy would take absolutely nothing to get. He's been in AAA just hitting absolute dongs down in Gwinnett. But, like, he would take nothing to get. Like, he's a guy they claimed off waivers multiple seasons ago, and he's just been sitting down there forever. Maybe not the ideal first baseman, but he's got some pop. He could be an option. Has he ever done anything in the big leagues? He's had some years in the Yankees where he had some home runs, but wasn't the greatest hitter. Then he had some home runs as like a bench guy, was a good hitter. Then he went to Las Vegas. Once again, bunch of home runs, not a great hitter. So yeah, he's like an all-pop, nothing really else sort of guy. Isaac Paredes on the trade block. He is an expiring contract. Okay, I mean, he's definitely all pop, but he does walk. So he'll get on base, and he'll hit some home runs, and he's also not going to strike out, but he's not going to do anything. He's not going to hit any singles. He's not going to hit you any doubles. It's all just home run or walk. Home run or walk with Isaac Paredes. Just pulling home runs and walking. That's what Isaac Paredes does. Maybe reacquiring him could be an option. Velasquez. Bellinger? I keep accidentally hitting right click. Yeah, no, he's been terrible the past 3 seasons. Luis Garcia doesn't really he's got a little pop, but he's not really like the bat we're looking for here. Is he even expiring? He's not even expiring anyways. And then we got Bryce Harper on the Pittsburgh Pirates, who has just been terrible. Are they playing him like in the field or something? He has 10 games in each position. So yeah, I guess they're DHing him and playing him in the field. Like half and half, and he's just been not good. Like, he has the eye still. but he's not somebody we're looking to acquire here. 39-year-old Bryce Harper. Why do I keep accidentally, like, clicking that? My right click is being super sensitive right now. Yeah, not looking to pick up Bryce Harper here. Luke Keeschel has just never been that sort of big pop guy, so I really don't think we want to pick up him. There's just not a lot of huge pop guys. Like, there's Tyler Soderstrom, who's making a bunch of money for a guy at this level. Not interested in that. Chase DeLauder, another minor league guy. If we're going to go minor league guy, I'd probably just go him rather than Chase DeLauder. Reese Hines with the Yankees. Has he ever done it in the big leagues? He's got okay, he had a 3-WAR season with Philadelphia in 2027, hitting 30 home runs. That was a while ago, but he's got the pop, but he also has a shit ton of swing and miss. Like, he's going to strike out, if you play him a ton, he's going to strike out 40% plus. So I don't think we want to do that. So honestly, I think out of the guys who were on the block here, what's Nolan Shawnowell up to? He has not been good. Brutal. Brutal stuff. Out of the guys on the block here, it is Kyle Tucker back at the Astros. I'm trying to see if there's like some dude standing out here. Maybe some big gap power or something. Luis Garcia, he has an interesting bat, but it's the fact that it's not expiring turns me off of that. So yeah, if we go with the bat, it's going to be some combination, not some combination, but like if we go with the big bopper, it's either going to be reacquiring Isaac Paredes on an expiring contract. So I mean, am I crazy to think that Ortiz is the best option? Because he has a little bit of, he has 50 BABIP, 50 power as well, so like he's going to hit the ball hard. He's not going to walk a ton. He's not going to strike out a ton either, but he's going to hit the ball hard. He's going to hit you a little bit of singles. He's going to have some doubles. He's got that 60 power. The thing is, he's a lefty, so you really can't play him against lefties. He has a little bit of pop against lefties, but obviously much more effective against right-handed pitching. But I still think he's the best option. Because Paredes just has... what has he done since leaving us? He had that good season, then he went to St. Louis and was like okay, went to New York and was like not, he was like okay, he was bad, now he's in Las Vegas, and he's really good. Yeah, maybe I just go with Paredes because he's like the proven commodity at the major league level, whereas Ortiz has never truly really done it in the big leagues, and he hasn't really done anything at all since 2028 with the Yankees, where he was like a bench player. And it's mainly so just looking at his AAA stats the past couple of years and being like, maybe he could have some of this pop in the big leagues, but also AAA run rates are really, really juiced. What about just guys who have hit home runs this season? Freeland's been hitting... How does he have 14 home runs? It makes no sense. He has 45 power. 50 against lefties. Makes no sense. Esteury Ruiz has 12 home runs at the break here. What if we look at our player development here and we just go, who's somebody we would not mind moving on from? Maybe one of these like good minor league pitchers that we have. Like, this guy's fragile. What if we go Mauricio Soto and we just go any sort of regular or veteran bat? What you got for me? Luis Garcia. Jack Brannigan. No. Chris Thompson, who has like a minor injury. Okay. Now this guy is weird. He's got good ratings, but he's never really been a level of dude for them. He just doesn't have a position. They've been playing him in right field. He does not have any sort of position. He could probably hack it at first enough. Well, we'll come back to Chris Thompson. Are the Yankees even bad? The Yankees are bad. So Chris Thompson could be an option. We'll come back to that. Now, we want power. Nick Johnson of the Giants organization. This guy, they don't like this guy for some reason. He has 75 power, 60 range, and they just haven't used him this year. He's in AAA for them. He's... Where is it? He's 27, essentially. And he was good for them the past 2 years. He was hitting a bunch of home runs for them. And then they sent him down with a perfectly fine 110 WRC plus. He goes to the AAA, he's tearing things up. I mean, if they don't want this guy, he can't really play first, but we can figure out something. Are the Giants bad? They are. They absolutely are bad. Maybe we look into it, rather than giving them Soto, we would give them like a more Major League ready starter. Although Soto's kind of Major League ready, like you could get Soto in the big leagues within the next season or two. We'll keep looking, but Nick Johnson is the top of my list right now. Not to be confused with the former highly touted first base prospect of the New York Yankees, Nick Johnson, who then went to the Nationals, as we all know, or at least hopefully people know. Yeah, that's the best option we're gonna get here. So we're gonna try to do this. Rather than give them Soto, we're gonna see like maybe we have another dude who we could give them that's like more Major League ready, because that's probably what they're looking for. They're a neutral team. Let's just check what kind of team the Giants are. We look at their info page. I guess they're just bad all around. They're just not a good team. They're like treading around 500 essentially, but like they're just not good. They could use everything. Why do we have so many guys that were scouting discoveries? We got this guy's a scouting discovery. Soto, who we were just thinking about trading, is a scouting discovery. We know that Patino was a scouting discovery. Oh, another thing I should mention is that we have Mason Braun here. He was our 9th round pick back in 2025 as a high schooler, and he's just here all these years later, like halfway to 26 years old, lefty bat, down in Double-A right now, hitting. Don't know if I wanted to just put him up in the big league straight from Double-A here, but he's potentially got some serious pop here. So I think we're going to put him in AAA, see what he can do there, and maybe at some point down the stretch he ends up on the 40-man roster and on the big league roster. But for now, we're still looking at Nick Johnson here as our guy. Where would we put him in the lineup as far as that goes? I guess he could play in the outfield. So, like, maybe that pushes Meekhoff to first base. Maybe we teach Meekhoff how to play first. Wait, what is the defensive ratings? He doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the arm to play really anywhere except for first base. So maybe Meekhoff gets pushed to first base. Vargas goes to third. Or Vargas goes to second, whichever one we decide to do. Partridge goes to the bench. Turner goes down. Johnson goes to the one of the corner outfield spots. That is absolutely something we could do. So Nick Johnson here. Would Elizalde get it done? Yeah, man. Let's just give them Soto. We'll give them Soto, who is like, he looks like he could be a good pitcher. You know, the fragility is not great, so maybe we give them like a 45 potential guy just to like tack it on, like somebody who we're clearly not going to ever use. Kettleson I like having around because he's the center field depth in the system. Chris King, I don't know if I want to move on from him. I'm just looking through other prospects. We got another guy right here, scouting discovery, 2028. Doesn't look like he's going to be the greatest pitcher, but he's a leader of men. And you need guys like that. Ground ball pitcher could outperform his ratings. Here we go. Another scouting discovery guy who's a 45. Could be like a decent fifth starter, reliever type. We're going to give them Sadio and Soto. So they get that guy. They also get Mauricio Soto here, who could be a potential good starter for them. And we get Nick Johnson, who looks like, I mean, maybe we don't need to give them Sadio. Yeah, we'll hang on to Soto. We'll just give them Soto. 55 potential starting pitcher. That's valuable as fuck. They get this guy. We get a guy who they're not using, has some serious pop. Boom. 1-for-1, Soto, Nick Johnson. We're doing it. You know, I think that's going to be all we do here at the deadline. I think we just pick up Nick Johnson. We have inserted him into both of our lineups. It's the same against righties and lefties. He is now our left fielder, hitting 6th against both righties and lefties. Because we have a very solid 1 through 5 right now. That's cooking, so I don't want to mess with that. We're going to put Johnson 6th, as like the end of like the top half of the lineup. Then I mean, we got like Agustin Ramirez I think 7th. Then you get Meekhoff. Then you get Dylan Head. And then, bam, you're right back at the top of the order here, and we're cooking right again. So 1-9, we're looking pretty damn strong here. Partridge goes to the bench. Munson will be replaced by Diaz when he comes back, and we'll be rocking and rolling here. If we need some bats, we've got bats down in AAA. We got bats in the minor leagues that we trust that we could call up. And on the pitching side of things, we've been over that many times. We have a pitching factory right now here in Miami. So things are looking good. Things are looking swimmingly as we are going to head past the trade deadline here and see how this team does the rest of 2032. Alrighty, so we're here just a couple days after here, and we are taking a look at this player development list because we have gotten ourselves quite a few interesting things on here. Right off the bat, you can see Pedro Patino, current movement rating improves from 50 to 55 here. Bang. I mean, look at this guy. This guy is prime extension material in the offseason. We might be trying to give him like I don't ever do this, but I might be trying to give him like a 10-year deal to a pitcher after this season because he's just that level of pitcher. And, you know, obviously you're always taking a huge risk with pitchers because they're pitchers. But, I mean, just look at this fucking guy. He's got 2 elite pitches above the 80 scale. He's got a 60 grade screwball. He's got a changeup that could be 80. He's got a sinker that's very good. He's an 80 grade stamina, so he can go super deep into ball games. He's got the hold runners. He's got great personality class. He throws super hard. He's ground baller. He's got great movement. He's got elite stuff. What else could you want? So we'll be trying to extend him in the offseason here. Jose Hernandez, his potential movement went up as well, so he's looking even better, and he's continued to be very good for us. Luke Garreau, his stuff went from 70 to 80, so now we've got a 80 grade stuff reliever in the mix here as well. Wilfredo Lara's speed went up. That's strange. He now just has 70 speed at age 28. Awesome. Won't find me complaining. Garza's overall rating is now up to 60 according to this. This says 55. Oh no, it does say 5260. So yeah, he's a 60 overall now. Yeah, we got dudes who are progressing here. Amishai down in AAA. He's playing quite well for us yet again. He'll be in the big leagues sooner than later. And he is performing well and developing well. Elizalde here, who was the scouting discovery guy we saw, he's durable. He's been developing nicely. He's pitching very, very well in A-ball right now. He should be indefinitely above A-ball. But we have so many good pitchers that, like, we'll just keep him there to just keep dominating and get that development up. And next year, or is he wanting to come up? He is wanting to come up. So he's just going to go straight to AA here. Is he even on my... He is. So he's going to AA. He's looking damn good. Another thing I should mention here, I'd mentioned Amishai. He just won the top batter trophy in the AAA International League. The International League, I don't know why that drew a blank. It's literally right here. The International League batter of the month in July. Hit 291. Oh, that's his overall. He had 361, 30 hits, 10 home runs, 26 ribbies. Scored 21 times in the span of a month. And then down in the Dominican Rookie League, the DSL, Alex Garcia has been tearing things up here in the month of July. He was one of our international free agent signings in 2029. We got him for... Yeah, he was one of the ones that we signed for the max. That was one of those years where we just got this guy because he was the best guy, Alex Boog Garcia here. And you can see he is just been climbing up the rankings. He is now up to the number 16 prospect in baseball at the moment. Looking really, really good. Just get another outfielder that we have who looks like he's going to be a generational bat with some really good corner outfield defense, who we hope that we have room for him by the time he gets to the big leagues, and if not, somebody will be trade bait. Remember this guy? We got him from Detroit this past offseason in the Keegan Akin deal as like a guy coming off Tommy John. He just tore his UCL. He's injury prone. He's fragile. He's 27. He hasn't really fully developed. We traded for him, and he's now off his injury, so we are throwing him on a rehab assignment here because he has no option, or that's the wrong page. He has no options, so at the end of this 30 days, we might have ourselves a possible lefty reliever depending on what he looks like at the end of this rehab assignment. That is... that is brutal. That is some shit that would happen to us. Now, you know, did I kind of rip them off by giving them a fragile pitcher? Maybe, I guess, but he's a good pitcher. He's a good pitcher. This just happens. This is just the nature of trading for a pitching prospect. We trade him to the San Francisco Giants for their power-hitting outfielder, and he immediately tears his UCL, ruptures his UCL out 14 to 15 months. Yeah, here we go. So I just asked for the updated scouting report on Solis here, and he was just a 60 potential before that. Now he's a 45 potential, so still looking like a decent-ish reliever, but now we are much more confident to just be like, hey man, when you come back from your rehab assignment, we'll probably just DFA you, unless we're like desperate for a lefty. Folks, I was just curious to see what the possible Patino extension would look like here. We're ripping this man off. We are doing some Braves shenanigans here. Pedro Patino. We are going to be locking him into a 10-year deal where we are overpaying him for his next season of minimum. This would be the league minimum for his next season. Who cares? Then this season would be, I guess, maybe minimum, maybe arbitration. Who cares? And then once he hits arbitration, it's 10, 12.5, 15, and then free agency years. We're buying out 6 years of free agency years, or 5 years rather, at $16.5 million. That is going to be so incredibly under market value for this guy. We're doing this. We're locking him in through age 32. If he's still elite at that point in his career, I mean, we have found the best pitcher of all time. We're also throwing a little cheeky little bonus here for if he hits a Cy Young, he gets $850,000 as a bonus. You know, maybe you get like 4 or 5 of those. Why not? Dream big. So here we are. 10-year offer. Give it to him. Accept it, please. Well, there it is, folks. Mark Antonio with some chronic back soreness out for 3 weeks. This man is 22 years old getting chronic back soreness for the 3rd time in his career. Am I insane to be like, maybe we trade this guy in the offseason as good as bad as he is? If we can't get this fragility up, like, would we be better off just being like, hey man, go be a DH somewhere else, and then we will just, I don't know, get somebody who's more steady than you. But also at the same time, like, I've seen AI teams play wrecked guys for like 10 years and have like no issues. So, I don't know. I mean, his bat's just that level of good where like we might just have to be like treating him like Giancarlo Stanton, essentially. I also wanted to mention Dahigo here. This was somebody that we got from the Houston Astros in the Ronnie Mauricio trade. Or no, we got him... Not in the Ronnie Mauricio trade. We got him in the Colorado Rockies trade. He came over with Yanquiel Fernandez in the Colorado Rockies trade for Ronnie Mauricio. And he was just kind of sticking around in our system for a long time, and he just never really did anything for us. He just kept developing, and he was always like pretty decent in the minor leagues. Like if you look at his ratings, like he had some decent years, mainly the last 3 with Pensacola and Jacksonville. This was when he was with the previous organization, the Rockies. So we picked him up 2029 from onward. He was pretty good for us. He had a 40 home run season. I did not realize that. That just shows you how insane the run environment that is down there in the International League. But he got taken in the minor league signing because in the offseason, he was a guy who I forget what it was. I think it was like he wanted like a major league deal, but he wanted like a crazy major league deal. So I was like, we're not going to give you like $6 million to be like a guy who's like maybe going to give us like a third backup infielder sort of role for us. So we let him walk into free agency, and then he went to free agency and he wanted just a bag. So like the Twins gave him $11 million as a free agent. He's got like decent ratings, but he's not like anything crazy. So they give him $11 million, and he has been phenomenal for them this season. He's got a 4 WAR, the 149 WRC plus, 20 doubles, 15 home runs, and just this crazy personality class. He's like the center of their team right now, and unfortunately, out for 3 months with a fractured finger. And he's had multiple, like, sore back thing this year. A bunch of, like, nagging stuff for him throughout his career here. Yeah, just wanted to mention that this guy has turned himself into a crazy good player now at the Minnesota Twins, getting paid a lot of money on an auto-renew $11 million. Folks, Pedro Patino has indeed inked his contract. He has signed on the dotted line a 10-year, $128 million extension to stay here in Miami for the next 10 seasons, or for this season plus 10 more. Pedro Patino, folks, this is our number one starter for the foreseeable future. Well, folks, the season has come to an end here in 2032, and as you can see on your screen right now, we have done it. We have indeed won the most games ever in franchise history, I believe that is. Yes. The first 2 times ever winning 100 games here for the Marlins. Last year, 101 wins, and then this year, a 102-win season. As we somehow improve, even with our team that has been kind of limping into the playoffs here. Not record-wise, obviously, but when it comes to the injuries. Let's just take a look at them right away here. We've got, obviously we know about Hirata. Jorge Garza has missed some time with a strained forearm. It was only a moderate injury, but it was like 3 weeks long. So rather than just play him through it, I was like, let's just throw you on the IL all the way back here on September 14th. He's been out. It's currently October 4th. We also have had Dylan Head, who is going to miss at least the opening round of the playoffs, if I had to imagine, maybe even more than that, with a fractured finger that he suffered on September 21st, so not very long ago, and that is a big blow to our team, especially with Garza on the IL, but Garza will be back for the postseason here, so that is good, and he'll be playing center field for us in the postseason. But Dylan Head here, that is a huge, huge blow. I mean, he has been Mr. Steady throughout his entire career here. These games are not like injury games, like he's really never had an IL stint. Yeah, I don't think we put him on the IL for any of these except for this fractured finger. So, a bunch of single-day injuries here. Like, all these games missed are not him, like, most of them are not him, like, needing to be on the IL. They're him just needing a rest because I rest guys when they're below, like, 96 stamina. What is the exact number? It's 97. So when they get the 96, it automatically rests the players. But yeah, we've had those injuries, so that's a big thing. Mark Antonio here is currently playing through back spasms, which is not ideal, obviously, but he's Mark Antonio. That's what he does. He's going to have chronic back pain his entire life. But he's still playing well, at least I think. Yep. Back spasms, who cares? 219 in WOC Plus in September, 167 so far in the 9ABs in October. It doesn't bother him, I guess. And then also, Agustin Ramirez has been slumping down the stretch here. His WRC Plus is 86. As you can see, ever since July, it has really tanked here in August and September. Not what you want to see there. But he has been dealing with a strained Achilles tendon that he has been playing through. He has 1 to 2 weeks left on that. So we might head into the playoffs with Palma as our catcher here. Who knows? But taking a look at our team stats page, as you would expect, just a bunch of really solid month-by-month records. 18-8 in April, 17 wins in May, 16 in June, 13-11 in July, but then boom, turn it on, 18-7, 20-9. Lose all 3 regular season games in October, but who cares? And then on the hitting side of things, a bunch of single digits here, obviously. Nothing too crazy offensively, but we do steal a ton of bags. We get a bunch of value from our base running. We walk a good amount. We don't strike out. And we're good enough offensively to be a very good baseball team. And then what really powers this team, as it will be pretty much always with every save I ever do on OTP, the pitching and the defense carries the team. 1-1. My mouse just turned off. I need to replace the battery. Jesus. Ones across the board here. ERA, starters ERA, bullpen ERA, runs allowed, WAR, hits allowed, opponent's average, 5th in BABIP, 1st in home runs allowed, 9th in walks, 2nd in strikeouts, and then top 5 in both defensive efficiency and zone rating here for the Fish. So let's take a look at this generational pitching staff we've got here, led by Pedro Patino as we sort by innings pitched. It was Hurston Waldrop who had the most innings this year, 193 and a third, a 3.9 WAR season for him. Just doing what he does. He's Hurston Waldrop. He has put together a bunch of really, really solid seasons here. Like really 4 seasons in a row, just being like an absolute just like dude for us at the top of our rotation. And now he doesn't even need to be at the top of the rotation because we've got some other guys as well. So staff has leveled up somehow. Johnny Brito, another solid year for him, 2.5 WAR, solid ERA and FIP. He has put together a couple of good seasons for us. Really just a bunch of solid seasons overall in this save, in this universe. Really, he's just never been bad. 2025, first year of this save, he was not good with San Diego, but then he just immediately turned into just a steady 2-3 WAR player for his entire career, leading the league in ERA for a couple seasons with BABIP. Just a steady career here for Johnny Brito. And then we have Ramon Hernandez, who had the second most innings pitched. Actually, him and Patino were tied for exactly 171 and a third innings pitched, both of them with 4 WAR seasons, a 145 ERA plus and a 77 FIP minus for Patino, and a 115 and a 78 respectively for Ramon Hernandez. Both of them with 30 plus strikeout rates and like low teen walk rates and then sub 1 home run rates, 21 and 22 K minus walks. Very good stuff. Another thing I should mention is that we have also tinkered with their strategy. For most guys, pretty much the baseline for everyone looks like this. This is what I do for all pitchers. We knock down the hook. I adjust their pitch around based on their control rating. So he has a huge control rating, so we crank up that pitch around. But for somebody like Hernandez, their pitch around would be like down here, where the mouse is right here. But intentional walk's always down here. Hold runner is adjusted usually based on what they are, but the default, I usually just 1 tick up. Infield in is all the way down here. Guards lines, I've been doing that in the middle now. And then shifts, even though you can't do shifts, is all the way up. And then outfield depth at 3 clicks up. And this is what I do for the baseline for everybody. We have adjusted what we do for Patino and Hernandez. We've raised their hook because we want them pitching deep into games. We want them pitching deep rather than giving them pitch count. We want them being able to go in there, rack a bunch of innings, rack up a bunch of strikeouts, do their thing. Everything else is pretty much the same. Obviously, like I said, pitch around for these guys is lower, but the hook has been raised for these guys because they have such good stamina and they're such good pitchers that we want them to be pitching as much as possible for us. So it's the same sort of thing with Ramon Hernandez here. A little bit, I think it's 1 tick less on the hook here for Ramon than it is for Patino. But those are our 2 dudes. And then the other starter was Jose Hernandez, who put together a 2.9 WAR, 182 ERA plus, and a 77 FIP minus. Just 5 absolute studs in the rotation. Who the hell goes to the bullpen in the postseason? I like Brito is the worst of them, I probably would say. I probably want the lefty. I probably don't want to go 4 righties in the rotation, so we probably want Hernandez. We're obviously not going to put Waldrop or Hernandez or Patino. Is Brito going to the bullpen? That'd be absurd. Do we do a 5-man rotation? That's also absurd. I have no idea. We will have to see. We have 5 guys who could be number 1s on any given staff in Major League Baseball. And maybe not Hernandez, maybe not Jose. Maybe, a bad team, sure. But like, top 3 starters all the way down to number 5. Like, our 5th starter is not, ignore the order, because like ideally the order is something like Patino, Waldrop, Ramon, Hernandez, or Brito, Hernandez if you go by like skill or how I view them, but like I would probably throw Hernandez here just to have him as the lefty breaking up the order, the monotony of righties. But then taking a look at these other bullpen guys, as we will eventually figure out what we do with the postseason rotation that'll be in for the next video, obviously. Mike Carrier, the stopper for us this season. Him and Peyton Martin putting together 100-plus innings in the bullpen, just doing their damn thing. 148 innings for Mike Carrier, the man out of South Dakota. He continues to just limit home runs at an elite level, work ground balls, and just be an absolute stud starting pitcher. I mean, in a different universe, this guy is like a 3-WAR starter for us. Like, this guy could very easily just, like, be Jose Hernandez for us in the rotation, but he's our stopper because we have such good pitching depth in this organization. And then same with Peyton Martin even. Peyton Martin, he could very easily be like a solid third starter for somebody, but he's an elite stopper instead. So, crazy bullpen. Grijalva was really good as a lefty for us. Puts together a way above average ERA plus, 93 FIP minus. TJ Griffin was really good in his role. He continues to be solid, never walks anybody. Chris Ramirez was up and down. He was probably the worst reliever, I would say, of the guys who were here for the most of the season. Gave up a bit too many home runs, but it was his first full season in the big leagues. I trust that he's going to be a good reliever for us. And then Mike Bird, he still doesn't have, like, the slider is still only 45. That'll probably be what we work on with him in the offseason in the dev lab. But that fastball is special. It carries him. I guess it's enough when you're just like a one-inning guy. And Mike Bird doing his thing. Brian Burnett has come up, has been a solid lefty in like a limited amount of times. Luke Garreau has kind of struggled in a limited amount of time. But, you know, you look at these guys' ratings, you know, this guy's not going to struggle for his entire career. You would not imagine he's probably going to be one of our best relievers at next season. Maybe next season. Who knows? But Luke Garreau here, former 20th round selection, late 20th round pick. Not like an early 20th round pick, late 20th round pick, somehow turning into this. And then Kurt Tebow here has been called up once. Who got hurt? Dylan Smith. I forgot to mention Dylan Smith. Dylan Smith was with us for the majority of the season. He was that guy we traded for from the Nationals in the Dustin May trade when he had one more option left on his deal. Or one more option left on his contract. So he sent him to Washington, got Dylan Smith as just kind of like a throw-in because he was like a way overager in the minor league. He's just putting together really good numbers. If we look at his numbers, it was this 4-WAR year. He put up a 4-WAR in AAA as a 30-year-old with Rochester, and we got him. He was good in AAA in the bullpen, then was good in AAA again this season, so we were like, let's just call this guy up since Shavigi's been bad, and he was really good. He was really good in the rotation, but unfortunately, 32 years old, 7 months with shoulder inflammation. Who knows how long he sticks around, but, you know, Dylan Smith, at least you had the one season here in the big leagues, and unfortunately, you don't get to pitch in the playoffs. But then moving on to the hitting side of things, sorting by wins. Brooks Lee, 4.5 WAR, 4.7 to be exact, even as a player who only had 102 games appeared because he missed a chunk of time at the start of the season with a fractured rib, his first injury in 2 seasons. First, like, long-term injury as well, and it was only 6 weeks. Yeah, because he had a 5-week in 2025, too. But overall, very durable, and even with only playing 100 games, 4.7 WAR, 125 WRC+, 351 WOBA, a 30 double season, 14 home runs, and just gets on base a ton, steals a bunch of bags, 24, and he plays a solid enough shortstop to stick at shortstop. So, really good player. Has somehow upped his value at age 31. And then Mark Antonio as a DH. This man has not played a single inning in the field. And even with that, and even with missing all this time, 3.6 WAR, 168 WRC+. 3.6 WAR, not playing a single inning in the field, only having 100 games as a DH. 3.6 WAR. That is absurd. Generational bat. There's really just nothing else you could say about him. We are going to be throwing him on durability dev labs every single offseason until it sticks because he needs to play. He needs to be our guy. He's that level of bat. Shedry Vargas doing what he does. Another solid year for him. 3.5 WAR, 122 WRC+, 42 doubles, leads the Fish. 23 home runs, leads the Fish as well. 83 ribbies, leads the Fish. 101 runs, scores, leads the Fish. Walks a good amount, never strikes out. That's been the most impressive part about our bats, for the most part, is that we just don't have guys who strike out. Now, obviously, we do have Camilo Diaz, who doesn't strike out as much, as he could for a guy who has that type of pop. And we have Nick Johnson now, who is going to have some swing and miss issues. But for the most part, our core, dudes who have great bat-to-ball skills, good control of the strike zone, it's one of the best aspects of our team. 25 swipe bags, 23 home runs for Vargas, power speed for him as always. Wilfredo Lara, he was really good, or I shouldn't say really good. He had like an average season, 2 WAR, 102 WRC plus. Struggled in the field this year. Down year for him, but he's Wilfredo Lara. He's going to bounce back. We're confident that he's Wilfredo Lara. Then there's Agustin Ramirez, who put together a 1.8 WAR season, but the bat was not good, as we talked about. Really, really struggled down the stretch in August and September with a 45 and 42 WAR, or WRC plus, respectively. Who knows if he's the catcher heading into the postseason, or if we go Palma. Not like he was good, though. So catcher might be a bit of a black hole offensively, but maybe Ramirez does what he does usually, where it's like he stinks, he kind of like stinks up in the postseason, goes into the playoffs, and he's like, actually, I'm feel pretty good, and he just rips it. Mikov never really turned it on this year. Only a 1 WAR, 93 WRC plus, 21 doubles, 17 home runs, 16 swipe bags at just a terrible, terrible rate. That needs to improve. But he plays a decent enough defense. He's a really good defender in the outfield. He had a bad first base CR because he was learning it on the fly, but overall not going to be a bad first baseman if he ends up playing there at some point again. But we're confident that he can turn into a player. His problem right now is that he's much, much better against lefties than he is against righties. So he's, kind of going to be one of those guys who struggles against the strong side of a platoon unless he can really start to figure things out. We look at what are his splits against righties and lefties. So yeah, solid player against lefties, not so solid against righties. That needs to get better as his career progresses if he's going to be anything more than a platoon guy. Camilo Diaz, in and out of the lineup, doing what he does, providing a solid quality power bat off the bench for us who could play all over the infield. Nick Johnson, unfortunately, just wasn't that good. Honestly, kind of really bad. Honestly. 9 home runs, 8 doubles in 216 plate appearances with a 60 WRC plus. Plays a solid left field, but you would expect more home runs from this bat. You would just expect more, and it just hasn't happened so far. Hopefully it shows up in the playoffs because we're going to need him to. I talked about Palma. He did not have his best season. Brown Martinez with an M is whatever, just like a backup outfielder. Danny Munson has been up and down. He's been whatever. Nicholas Partridge was totally terrible to the point where we had to trade for Nick Johnson to add a bat to the lineup, and then Nick Johnson has not been good. But Partridge has been just very, very disappointing. You would have hoped that he could eventually figure things out, but he just hasn't. So Partridge, just not very good. Amashai has been playing right field for us. He has not been good in the big leagues, but it is his first taste of the big leagues, so we're hoping that he can eventually figure things out because this bat is too good to just not figure things out. And then we get called up Brock Kettleson at one point. Unfortunately, it was after the 40-man roster, or it was after the roster expansion, so he's not playoff eligible, but he is up here in the big leagues, finally, as our third-round pick in 2025. He just never really has turned into a bat in the minor leagues. Just has never had a great season. He had 2028, he was really, really good, looked like he could be a good player, and then he just never did that. I remember hoping that maybe he was going to be like the AA MVP sort of player in 2029, but just never really turned out to be the case. And he's just really a really good fielding center fielder, defensive center fielder. He's always putting up good ZRs, but just does not have the bat. I should also mention that Colby Turner here officially is starting to come down on the potential here. If we take a look at his development page, he's had a bunch of minuses to his potential ratings here in September. And now all of a sudden looking like not as intriguing of a player. Definitely a quad A type guy at this point in his career. Oh, then I forgot to show the expanded standings here. Plus 178 run differential. That is the second best in Major League Baseball. Second best in the National League as well. Best in the American League was the Cleveland Guardians with a plus 134. As the Red Sox win the East, the Astros win the West. And then we win the East in the National League. Mets right behind us with 9 games. They actually had a really good year this year. They were within like 2 games of us at one point, and then we kind of took the reins in August and September. And then in Central, they had the Cardinals had the best run differential in Major League Baseball with plus 206, winning the Central, and then the Dodgers win the West with the Padres and Rockies both competitive behind them. Rockies, bit of a down year here. It looks like they're still in contention. So they're still in contention for that third wildcard spot. They're currently tied at the Phillies. I believe I do have tiebreaker games on, so they might be playing... They do. They play a tiebreaker. Yeah, I don't think I'm able to watch opposing or other teams. Maybe that's a setting I have checked off somewhere, but whatever. We'll see what happens with this. We'll just check in with this after we take a look at the statistics here on the season. The league leaders, that Juan Cuadros, is it Juan? Yes, it's Juan Cuadros. Absolutely insane hitter. A 12.8 WAR season. He follows up his 10.7 WAR season with a 12.8. A 225 WRC plus. 225, folks. Jesus. My God. Of course the Dodgers have this guy, too. And he was a scouting discovery. He was a scouting discovery, too. Jesus. My God. Lots of stuff going on here. So, batting title, he wins that. He has 54 home runs, has the most ribbies, has the highest OBP, has the highest slugging, has the highest OPS, the best WAR. Davenport of the Padres has a 12 WAR as well with a 210 WRC plus. I'm really hoping that the Padres don't turn into like a menace for us in the postseason as well. And we're just constantly haunted by the NL West. That would be horrific. But then we also have the hits leader was Jonathan Gonzalez of the A's. Really good year for him. I mean, my goodness, 181 WRC plus. The offense in this universe is out of control. We have doubles, Juan Cuadros. Triples is Jason Chourio. 6 WAR season for him. We've got Dylan Head with the major league lead in stolen bases. Unfortunately, also got caught a bunch this year. I didn't realize that. Still at 83% stolen base rate. But you can see here, he's always around like 90, even up to 95 at one point. This year, not so much. Still very valuable of a base runner, but that is interesting to see because didn't I do this? Didn't I like crank up his aggressiveness or something? I don't know. But Dylan Head, we shall see how if he comes back at some point this postseason because we're gonna miss him. And then on the pitching side of things here, the ERA leader was Clayton Arma, who is currently injured diagnosis pending. That's not good, but looking like a really, really good at a St. John's Catholic Prep. Is that like a different St. John's, or is that? Yeah, that's in Frederick, Maryland. He was a 12th round pick by Seattle in 20. This guy's real. This guy's real. 2025 MLB draft. Clayton Arma, and now he's in Detroit being a really damn good pitcher. All sorts of new names on this ERA list here. We got Andrew Morris, 31-year-old, 45 overall guy with the Brewers. Classic Brewers, just getting outs however they can. Kobayashi, 23-year-old scouting discovery for the Guardians here. Back-to-back 5-win seasons for him. Then you've got Treya Savage with the Blue Jays. He's turned into quite of a monster in this universe. Quite a bit of a monster, I should say. Arma's here at the WAR as well. Wins leader was Kobayashi with 21. The saves leader was Jackson Ferris, now with the Arizona Diamondbacks closing things out for them. Yeah, here we go. Second most walks in Major League Baseball, Pedro Patino. So, even with that amount of walks, it don't matter. It don't matter. Pedro Patino striking everybody out, doing his thing. There you go. Right there. Tied for second in strikeouts with Kobayashi, only behind Andres Pagan, who has a 90-grade fastball. So literally that's the difference. That's the difference is that this guy has a 90-grade fastball with an 85-grade slider, and then he has an 80-grade forkball and a 65-grade changeup, whereas Patino just has the 85-grade fastball and slider with a 65 screwball and then a 50 sinker. So I still like Patino better simply because he's a ground ball pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher with 80 stamina, and Pagan here has 60 stamina, and he's an extreme fly ball guy, but he is sitting 100 at all his starts. So he's also a scouting discovery. I just saw that as I clicked off the page. So all 3 of these guys right here are scouting discoveries. Is this guy a scouting discovery? Waiver claim. They got this guy off waivers. How'd they originally get him? He's a real-life player, Alton Davis out of Alabama. And then this Portes guy was the guy who was in Cincinnati for a bit, because I remember this guy was crazy because he was, he's real and he's from Antigua, which is just crazy to me. But then strikeouts per 9, K per 9, Patino, Hernandez, 2-3, Pagan is number 1. Would that be Pagan because it doesn't have the tilde? Although I don't think they have tildes in this game, do they? Just kind of looking around, not seeing any tildes. So maybe they just don't have a generated tilde in this game. So this probably is Patino. We're just going to keep calling him Patino. He's Patino. BABIP was second. Brito was there. Second most holds was Carrier. Most shutdowns was Carrier. Second most shutdowns was Peyton Martin. Just an incredible pitching staff here with the Teal Fish. And then on the fielding side of things, we have Agustin Ramirez with a 10 range rating, the second best, only behind William Contreras, or no. Is that the best? Is this one of those stats where you want your guy to have a lower rating? Because none of these guys, like, really stand out as, like, Aliendo's there, Caden Bodine's here, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the range rating and how that works, but I'm assuming that this is a good stat. And then he also had the best catcher's ERA simply because he's catching the best staff in baseball. Not because he's really doing anything to affect that. I mean, imagine if we had this staff and we had a catcher like Drew Romo. I mean, just imagine. Get that elite framing going with this staff. Oh, man, that'd be something. This guy's name is Gorgiev? Holy. The Mariners catcher is now a guy named Oscar Gorgiev from Tacoma, went to Oregon, was a first-round pick, 7th overall in 2028, and now he's just this elite bat-to-ball singles hitter. No pop, but he's a really good defensive catcher. Oscar Gorgiev. Not great, folks. Agustin Ramirez here suffering a setback from his strained Achilles tendon that he is trying to play through. So I believe this had 1 to 2 weeks. Now it just says 2 weeks. Not great there. Only moderate on his running, though, which is a very high skill of his. So that is a big hit to him. We'll see. I don't really want Grindlinger in our playoff roster, so we'll probably keep him on the playoff roster, but we will see once we get into the playoff video. And we should show the tree here as the Colorado Rockies lose that one-game playoff to the Philadelphia Phillies. They will not be in the wild card this season, so we will not be facing them in the division series for what would that have been, like the 3rd, 4th year in a row, 4th year, something like that. So Ivar Arquette not getting it done on us this year, and instead it's us and the Cardinals laying in wait for the Padres, Mets, Phillies, or Dodgers, while the Guardians and the Red Sox have the byes in the American League with the Twins, Tigers, White Sox, and Astros in the wild card over on that side of the tree. Well, there we go, folks. They lose a 1-run game at Philly, and Ivar Arquette strikes out 3 times and 4 ABs. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, you don't get this guy hitting for you, you don't stand a chance. That's just how it rolls with the Colorado Rockies. Honestly, what we're going to do here, we're going to make a new shortlist that is just enemy of the channel. Boom. This is going to be a shortlist that is literally just Ivar Arquette, so we are updated on everything that goes on with this fucking guy.